The stealth genre at its best requires the player to focus and learn from their mistakes, and learn every possible solution to a mission to get themselves out of tough situations. But this is only one reason why I love the stealth genre, so please join me as we discuss what we could learn from the stealth genre as a whole. One of my favourite genres of all time, but it isn't actually for everybody, has to be the stealth genre. The slow requirements and every moment to moment movement leaves a lasting impression that the developers designed for you to find challenging. Growing up I was obsessed with games like Metal Gear Solid, Thief and even Splinter Cell, and being a sibling I was the only one able to engage and complete these games and missions because I had an understanding of how this genre works and the technique I can use within games. Every time I was able to prove myself to one of my siblings growing up playing these games, it really made me feel like I was the best at the genre out of all my brothers. You can even say my younger self embodied the mindset of the likes of Sam Fisher and even Snake.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Growing up and as technology got better, the genre only grew and got more advanced in how to tell us how to play them. And the stealth genre does many amazing things that other genres are not actually capable of pulling off. And I want to take you through very important things that you could learn from stealth games and explain what I mean. Expression is a huge part of my life, and the way you sneak and climb through hallways, it doesn't really matter. No matter what type of stealth game you're probably playing, you're given the freedom to make the choice of the moment, whether you choose to let people die or live, or how you approach a certain room. And that's what separates this genre from others. You get full control and choice of everything that could happen on a map. And Dishonored is a class A example of this idea, allowing players to choose whether or not to use their powers or if they should kill or should not, but in relation to their actions there will always be consequences. If you kill a person, there's going to be more rats, therefore more dangers that lurk within the streets. Or if you play the game on high alert and have a high amount of kill count, the guards are going to be tougher and more paranoid as you go on. Each time you play and do something, this game alters depending on your experiences. No one player will ever play a stealth game the same as somebody else, and that's because it's the way we handle and learn the rules that this game could offer us. All these games, no matter what you play, all have rules that you will learn and pick up on even if you don't know it. From knowing when you're shrouded in darkness by the indication of lights on your body, or even picking up on a little bit more advanced tips like, for example, knowing you only have 7 seconds to run as soon as you hear the xenomorph entering and even leaving a vent. But if there had to be a series that perfectly demonstrates the idea of having rules to follow, it has to be Hitman 1 and 2. Each mission is perfectly handcrafted by IO Interactive and the player must outsmart them at every step. From listening to information that civilians or even guards could be talking about to find entrances, to finding out that the AI will only turn left when they turn around, allowing you to sneak by them every single time without fail. Once you begin to learn and understand these small tricks, the mechanics then become a walk in the park. It then becomes entirely down to you and your level of skill to get past each challenge. It's entirely down to you to work out the times, the placements and knowing exactly where you need to be at the right moment. And that brings me to my final point. Trial and error will always be present. Being caught relentlessly and the difficulty spiking at every single mission will decide whether or not a player hates a stealth game and turns it off or even learns from it. People who are new to the genre will get caught and find themselves in tricky situations. This always happens and yes, it can be frustrating, but that's the most important part of this experience. We don't come out of the womb playing like Mozart. It's a reason why Dark Souls is so popular. It's because of how From Software likes to make everything a learning experience and making sure you remember your mistakes. Before the Souls series though, From Software did make a little gem called Tenchu, but most importantly I'm going to talk about Tenchu Z. This series will make sure you learn its gameplay and its mechanics, from the way your character smells to the sounds they make to how loud you should land on the ground. It's essential to learn every single mechanics, but you're never going to do that through your first run. It's almost essential within the stealth genre that you fail a few times, just so you get an understanding of how the AI work and how easy it can be to be detected in certain situations, but at the same time also to prepare you for future battles and future missions. But there's something that's very important that connects all these themes together. Expression, learning the rules, trial and error. All these require one thing, and that's just a little bit of patience. It's something that everyone relates with, and even you watching now know exactly what I mean. The stealth genre showed me that things can't be mastered instantly. Like making YouTube videos, it's very similar to learning how to suit only a target in Hitman. It takes a little bit of patience and you have to keep at it no matter what happens, and eventually you will get there. Learning new skills can be hard. It's like sitting down and learning how to draw a picture or even how to edit certain videos. Hell, it's even like finding yourself throughout life. When it all comes down to the experiences you have, it's all entirely down to what you have learned from that. It's literally within our human primal instincts to learn from our errors every single day and keep growing because of it. When I first ever played Metal Gear Solid 3, I remember having a really hard time getting through that game. I remember not playing it because I felt like it was practically impossible to me. So one weekend I came back to it, spending hours that my 8-year-old self could have been doing something better with, and in that weekend I completed the game and even started replaying it the following week. This is why I love this genre. It's not like any other genre where you should just restart the checkpoint and learn who to shoot first and make sure you take cover at the right time, but it's instead how to learn to clear a room and take every single step as it comes, because you never know what enemies could be around the next corner. It's knowing I earned it because I took the patience to learn and understand the game itself, and because of the errors we make and the situations we get ourselves into, it really creates moments and feelings that I will remember for life. To this day, I will always remember the techniques I used to get past Metal Gear Solid 3 as the same I would remember the techniques I used to even play Splinter Cell Blacklist, something a little bit more modern. It's the way I play games and it's the way I was able to express how I go through missions depending on what items and even weapons I want to use. But it's when it all comes together that creates moments that only because of the way you played and the way you chose to go about the mission, it creates moments of cinematic and even intense situations. And these moment-to-moment set pieces will always remain an important part of the great stealth genre as a whole. Whether there's a guard blocking the door and you're trying to find ways to distract him, so you decide to throw an empty mag from your gun to see if he will go follow it so you can get a clear opening to take him out, to being stuck behind small pieces of cover when there's guards just right there looking for you and knowing that you're there. Or even playing games that aren't necessarily stealth games in their own right. I remember playing the Halo Reach multiplayer and using stealth tactics that I've learned from previous games. I camouflaged my character with green so it could blend in with the Forge World map, blending in and slowly moving around the map to go unnoticed to capture the flag. But I was also accompanied with the brilliant hologram on my back, which I kept making it run towards the enemy's base until they kept shooting it and trying to call my bluff. And then I decided to run out myself and pretended to be that hologram, and at this point they decided not to shoot it to not waste the ammo, and as they came towards where my holograms have been coming from, I was already past them, I was already at the base grabbing the flag. It's moments like this which I will always remember, and even when games that don't require stealth, you can really create organic situations just like this.
Flag stolen.
But it's knowing you're going to be in these situations and trying to outsmart the enemy to get by them, that's when you really start beginning to get engaged with the game itself, to the stage that you start whispering in real life because you know that it helps sometimes. Seeing other stealth players use their own items and techniques to handle situations that you're all too familiar with feels really great and rewarding, because you know exactly what they went through, you know the same struggles, and you know the lessons that they've learned from the game itself.
A neighborhood barbecue party. Oh no!
I strongly recommend, if you're not a fan of the stealth genre, to pick it up and give it a go and keep having at it, because it really is worth your time, especially if you know you can learn from your mistakes and learn every single step that you take. It's involving yourself into the world and understanding the rules and mechanics that it asks you to use, but it's also making the experience your own and expressing yourself in so many great ways, in the ways that you kill enemies or even the way that you choose not to and sneak right by them. And all these rules comes with every single challenge that life may even throw at you. If you feel like your content won't ever be as good as someone else that you may even admire or even get inspired from, and even sometimes you could feel envious because of that, just remember that they've put in all the same amount of work and even made a lot of the same errors that you made. Your content will eventually get there, and even then your content will continue growing. Everyone has a rocky start and will always learn something new every single day if you keep at it. I feel like my channel and content right now is in a place where I feel really happy with the style and visuals, but I know that I'm always going to keep making improvements and learning from mistakes that I make, even in this video right now. I even know and even push towards having my content change as I go along. I enjoy making these video essays, but I know that they could get better and even be better, and I continue to evolve, and that's a perfectly natural part of learning. It all takes time, and it's entirely down to you how much work you want to put into it, and I can guarantee no matter how long it takes, you will always get it back. So next time, if you feel like you want to quit and give up on something, maybe just don't. Just give it a time. Maybe take a moment, set back and even sleep on it, and come back to it when you're ready to tackle it again. So what, you're not getting the subscribers or the views that you expect to be getting by your first year on YouTube? So what, your colouring in your drawings may not even be as good as you wanted it to be? And so what if you're struggling to lose weight? Just don't give up and continue being you. Keep going at it, have mistakes and learn from them, but most importantly, enjoy them. You're allowed to have these errors because you know you've still got room to grow. Having room to grow tells you that you still have the freedom to learn so much about yourself. And being seen within a stealth game and failing the mission tells you that you still have time to replay the game and learn it all over again and take in every single hour and even learn from it. And that's exactly what could be learned from the stealth genre as a whole. Hello everybody, and thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I just really wanted to talk about stealth games recently because I've really been in the mood for stealth games because it's actually one of my favourite genres of all time because of exactly what I spoke about here. It allows us to express in so many great ways and handle missions in so many different ways that people may not even think about going about it. I really do appreciate that, and hey, if you appreciate stealth games too, please let me know what you think down below. What is your favourite stealth game and what have you possibly learned in it that you take into real life and even in consideration to other games? That would be quite interesting to hear from you guys. And of course, if you did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below. Of course, subscribe, and of course feel free to share the video with people because I'd love to hear what other people have to say about my videos. And of course, I'll see you at the next checkpoint. Bye bye.